It's time for the Wrestling Observer Extra.
One more time for old time's sake.
With Dave Meltzer, right here on The Law. Live audio wrestling.
And let's go. We're now smoking with the best.
Welcome back to The Law. Everybody in their normal spots this week. And that means we get into our second hour. And we welcome this gentleman who's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
He's the guy.
That's
right. He's the guy.
Dave Meltzer, welcome to the program, as always. Dave.
That's your new catchphrase, Dave.
That's you, Dave.
Everyone's new catchphrase.
Well, we heard it enough this week, but I got to ask you, Dave. So last week we were on the air. We're talking about WrestleMania and how bizarre the booking is, and then on Monday night we tuned in, and it just seems like the booking was completely erased from what we saw the night before.
Actually, I thought it made WrestleMania's booking even more bizarre. Watching Monday night, and I mean, it's amazing because you have Roman Reigns and AJ Styles in the main event on the next pay-per-view, and AJ Styles lost in the second match at WrestleMania.
That's exactly what I'm asking.
Well, yeah.
And leading to that is the new mentality of WrestleMania that this is just a big popular show and the mainstream audience watches this and let's just book for them. And then the next night, we'll get back to what we were actually doing.
I don't know, because you would think that if you were booking for the mainstream audience that AJ Styles would have won the match anyway.
Yeah, it's...
I just think it's even Steven booking, and they figured that since AJ Styles was going to win the four-way, then he can lose at WrestleMania. But
it's ridiculous.
It boggles my mind that you would, if you're in charge of your own creative, that you would make decisions like that.
Well, yeah, and the one that blew my mind, Dave, and I have to ask you if this was the plan all along or if this what they thought of 2 hours before the show started. The whole opening with Shane and Vince just going, "Oh, well, you know what? I'll let you run the show anyways."
I don't know when it was decided on, but
like that nullified everything we saw. He didn't have to do the crazy bump off the cage. Like, it just makes everything mean nothing.
Yeah, that was quite weird. It's like everything that they said would happen. Because the whole deal was that Undertaker wouldn't wrestle at another WrestleMania. Now he's talking about that was his last WrestleMania. But of course, that happens a lot, almost every year.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether we need to take that serious, but that's what he was saying. And it's almost like maybe Shane should have just won, right? But you couldn't do that because it wouldn't be even Steven booking.
Why did you even do it in the first place? If it's in the end, I don't know. I really hate that when they put out a major stipulation like that and then they just blow it off like it means nothing.
Well, they were doing that. They were doing that like the day of the show and the week of the show, because that stipulation seemed like it was gigantic, when it was first promoted. But by the end, Triple H and Stephanie weren't even addressing it anymore, and it was just like, you would think that like the future of the company would be bigger than a world championship match.
Mm-hmm. And also this whole gimmick of him just doing the one show, does that mean we don't see him tomorrow night, or do they just do something tomorrow night that keeps him on for good? Like, because you can't do the angle that the ratings were better, because they weren't.
Yeah, that was a big surprise. The ratings for Sunday on USA Network and the ratings for Monday on which was the WrestleMania pre-show or the WrestleMania 1 hour. And the ratings for Monday were so disappointing. But WrestleMania itself, was the biggest show, as far as attendance and gate by far in the history of the company.
So why is it, Dave, that we actually saw the stock drop the next day with the announcement of a high figure and, a record-setting event, a legitimate record-setting event?
That's because I think they were disappointed in the paid for the network. And I was, too. I thought that the network would be higher. And perhaps the reason it wasn't higher was because they had the free month and they promoted it being free so strong that people figured, why pay? We can get it for free. So we'll see if that pays off in 3 months. But yeah, that's why the stock dropped.
Now, tomorrow night, going back to this strange booking here, you had Anderson and Gallows flown in, of course, to WrestleMania, did not appear on WrestleMania or Raw, and I had read that they look to be flown in tomorrow night as well. Have you heard whether there's an appearance? Because I don't understand why they'd keep flying them in.
No. Remember Brodus Clay?
Oh,
yes, that's right.
Yeah, so I was thinking that today. I was thinking maybe they're Brodus Clay, where every single week, they're supposed to debut, and then like 4 months later they're going to debut with something so completely like that we never would have believed. But it's probably not that.
They're going to be dinosaurs?
Yeah, exactly.
Dancing dinosaurs. That would be something. Well, maybe he could go back to being. It could be Festus and a new Jesse.
Oh, jeez. No,
well, listen, Jesse's available. We just saw him on WWE TV.
That's true.
Yep.
We did.
What about some of the other choices that were made for bringing up from NXT, Dave? And I mean, Enzo and Cass, I understand they're over. I mean, Apollo Crews is a bit of a mystery, but the vaudevillains on SmackDown, they were the last guys I expected to get a push to the main roster.
I'm baffled because I'm looking at NXT and the top acts there, and the top acts that you would think other than Sami Zayn, they weren't brought up. I mean, the people who were brought up were Baron Corbin, who on that special was the least over guy of anyone. Apollo Crews, who, he hasn't really been groomed that much, and he hasn't been there very long. Not that but he's a really talented guy. So, I mean, it's good that he's on the roster. So, but, the Vaudevillains surprised me because there's several tag teams that I think would be better on the main roster.
And I always wonder, too, about Samoa Joe. Like, it just seems such a waste for him to still be on NXT. Like, do you ever see him moving up?
I would think it should already have happened. I was told a long time ago that it was going to happen now, but it was Corbin.
Wow. Very strange. I can't figure that out.
Along with that, Dave, see, again with this strange booking is that Sasha Banks does not seek any retribution on Charlotte. Do we see a long-term program here for a big win at SummerSlam?
Yeah, good chance. But, I mean, right now it's going to be Natalya, so they're obviously keeping them apart. I don't know how Sasha Banks is going to explain it or if she's even going to get a chance to explain it, but I think it's pretty clear it's Natalya and Charlotte right now because of how good that match in Toronto was.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, I was also wondering, too, with other talent that might be coming into the company soon, specifically after watching New Japan's Invasion Attack show today, Ricochet, him and Seidel dropped the tag belts. He got pinned. I know he's booked to do some shows at the end of the month with New Japan still, but are we going to see him making his way into WWE soon? That seems to be the rumor.
My impression is not soon. He's going to be in as soon as I think that there's whatever the deal is with Lucha Underground as far as the letting him out of his contract and how long their non-compete is. That will probably be the time limit. And so, because originally his contract would be 6 months after the last airing of one of his matches. Now his last match would probably air like in February or March of next year.
Oh,
so
wow.
You're talking about September of next year.
Oh, wow.
So I think that they're trying to, whatever it is, they're probably negotiating a date that's maybe sooner than that. But I don't think it's going to be like in a month or two. It could be, but it's because that's the basic deal there.
Wow.
Speaking of Lucha Underground, this week Lucha Underground had signed MVP, but he is no longer there due to a podcast issue and a breach of his contract. Now, both sides seem to be classy about this, but in being so classy, why can't they just get back together?
Yeah.
What do you happen to know the inside here?
It makes no sense that you would fire a guy because someone on, it wasn't even him, it was one of the guests said something. But I guess that they felt that he shouldn't have put it out since it was his podcast. So, So they said he breached his contract. I think that he was probably very nice about it because it just felt like he really wanted this job and he really likes the product and he actually likes the network itself. So, yeah, maybe they can get back together again.
It seems to be a really silly thing to blow off a guy's contract, especially someone like MVP who would be beneficial to your product.
Yeah, I think so. I was shocked when I heard that was the reason. And other people in the company I heard were shocked and also not really believing. There's like this feeling, well, there's got to be another reason, but what could it be? It's not like anyone had an idea of what it could be, but it just, people were just telling me it makes no sense, too, that would be it. But that is what they were told. That's what it was.
So. He can go back to TNA.
Bring him into...
he burned his bridge in TNA.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's the thing. I don't know what he would do now in terms of where he could make himself useful.
Managing Apollo Crews.
Yes, that would be good. Yeah.
Managing Nakamura. Somebody needs to. I don't know if it's him.
Rene Dupree has filed a lawsuit against the WWE, and not necessarily because it's Rene Dupree, but in regards to what this lawsuit represents. And it's basically saying that there was no consideration given to the rights fees paid to talent for something like the WWE Network. Rene Dupree is considering this new technology, not covered in his contract. Do you think there's merit to this?
You sign your contract. It's weird because they did get screwed. I mean, there's no way around it. The DVD business is down because of it. The pay-per-view business is way, way down because of it. They are getting. I don't know what the pay-per-view payoffs are, but they're not as big as they used to be. Unless I'm sure top guys are the same, but the underneath guys no. So, yeah, But I mean. That was a real, when they did that, I mean, I remember people asking questions like, are we going to get the same kind of payoffs for the network? And nobody really got any answers.
Well, isn't it stated right in their contracts that they won't get any royalties from the network?
Yes. That's why if you're suing, I mean, it is in the contract that, the contract since 2006, specifically covered this. And they say that, yeah.
So it doesn't sound like there's much of a case then.
Well, Dupree's claiming that the clause is video cassettes, video discs, CD-ROM, or other technology, including technology not yet created. And he's claiming that WWE Network would fall into that.
Yeah, but that's his 2003 contract, but he signed a 2006 contract.
Which negated that?
Where it was covered. So, yeah, in theory, if you have a guy who was with the company before 2006 when they changed the contracts, perhaps, but they're not going to be. Those guys aren't going to be on, DVDs and pay-per-views right now because of their last contract was 2003.
Right.
So, I know that the lawyers who were involved in that case were looking at a class action case. But I don't know if anyone else has jumped in. I've heard names that were, but again, you're talking about guys from way back, and not big name guys,
right? Dave, before we go here, just quickly, have you heard what may be in store with Dr. Phil tomorrow night on Raw?
No, I have no idea what's going to be on with Dr. Phil. That's strange.
Jay and I were bouncing it back and forth, and I think Jay actually had a good idea. They're probably going to be one of those things where Dr. Phil tries to heal the family. So that means Stephanie, Shane, and Vince in a segment with Dr. Phil.
Okay, well, I probably will have seen worse.
I don't know. This will probably be pretty bad.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, we're going to wrap for this week, but what is coming up in The Observer?
Blackjack Mulligan, I'm guessing.
Blackjack Mulligan, most likely. I may have to wait a week for it just because, but Invasion Attack coverage, lots of Lucha Underground coverage as far as just a lot of things that they did over the weekend that are quite strange, and just the normal stuff, WWE, more fallout from WrestleMania and what's going forward from there.
Fantastic. All right, we look forward to reading that, and we'll talk to you next week at this very same time.
Okay, have a great week.
Great, you too. Dave Meltzer, WrestlingObserver.com is where you can find his fine work.